Hey everybody, Ryan Medora here, and welcome back to another bass lesson. Today we are going to go down the blues rabbit hole and check out a blues adjacent song by Taj Mahal, She Caught the Katy. Personally, I love the Blues Brothers version and the Taj version, but this is a great way to kind of get started with like I said, a blues adjacent bass line where it's not a straight 12 bar, but it's definitely in the genre, in the ballpark, and we're going to dig into it. If you want to get tab notation, anything like that to help you practice this, accompany this lesson, please head over to my Patreon page and you can find it there, or go to ryanmedora.com for other fun goodies. But let's talk about this bass line so that you can add this song to your repertoire. Now, the thing that I like about it is the fact that this song is, like I said, blues adjacent. It's not a straight 12 bar, but it's just in the genre. And so it's something that very likely might get called at a blues jam or on a blues gig, but it's also just a really fun song to play. It's a straight groove that's kind of fun and funky. It's got some chromatic movement in it. And, we kind of follow a different chord progression than our standard 12 bar blues. So we're going to kind of get into that. So let's talk about the basic musical things here, meaning the key that we're in and kind of the flow of the song. And so we're going to be playing in the key of B flat. Now, B flat's an interesting thing because a lot of times we have to make certain adjustments to play in the key of B flat because we have this choice to make about whether we want to play in the position over here, where we're kind of starting on the B flat on the 6th fret of our E string, where we kind of are in the middle of the neck, and that's kind of like option number 1. Option number 2 is if we're going to go here and start playing on the 1st fret. So you can kind of see the positioning is going to be different. Obviously we're going to have open strings at our disposal. We're going to have certain moves that are easier to make in one position versus another. Now, for this song, we're playing in B flat, and our chord progression goes, for the most part, between 1 and 5, or B, which is the 1 chord, and 5, which is the F chord. So for me, because we're going to an F chord and we want to play this bass line lower, it makes sense to start in this position. If we're starting here, we're going to have to go down all the time. So playing the groove and then having to make that move down there to play it on F is a little tricky. So I do like to take advantage of my open strings and this kind of first position place on the fretboard. So we're going to play this bass line here. Now, as we go through this, the bass line itself, we're going to play the root note, and then we're going to play the 3rd, which we can use our open D string. We're going to go chromatically, play the 4th, sharp 4th, and 5th. So note-wise, B flat, D, E, E flat, up to the F. That's our groove. And the cool thing is it's a little syncopated. We're playing on the downbeat with the root note, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and then we're playing on some upbeats. So we got 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. So, we're playing the downbeat, but then we're playing on these upbeats. And that's a really cool thing to do. If you want, you could add a dead note in. I like to do that. I like to throw in a dead note sometimes. 1, 2, and 3. So I'll place that dead note basically before I play the E flat or scale degree 4. And it just gives a little bit of a pop, a little bit of a percussive thing to your bass playing. So that's kind of what you can do in terms of variation with this little line, just adding that dead note or not. Whatever feels comfortable for you, whatever sounds great, go for it. And we're going to take this line, this figure where we play the root note, scale degree 3, 4, sharp 4, 5, and that's going to be our groove throughout the whole thing pretty much. We're going to move that to all of the chords in our chord progression. So if we think about the song, we're going to start playing that on the B flat. She caught the Katy. And then when we left me a mule to ride, we're going to go down to our F chord and we're going to play that bass line there. So we start on the B flat, down to the F, back to the B flat. We're going to play that twice here. And so we kind of have this little 4-bar phrase where we play a bar of B flat, go to the F, and then we come back to B flat for 2 bars. That's our 4-bar phrase that we're going to have during the verses of this song. Now we're going to repeat that. Again, bar B flat, bar of F, 2 bars of B flat. So those are the first 8 bars of our verse. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to play the next phrase of the verse where we're playing the B flat. We're going to play it for twice, 2 times through. Now we're going to go over to our 4 chord, the E flat. You can just take that bass line, move it over 1 string. So I've got my E flat, and then I play 3, 4, sharp 4, 5 on my G string. And then we're going to have a fun chord. So we go from our E flat to an E diminished. Now, don't let this chord scare you too much, but know that from a basic concept, what we're doing is we're going to keep our line, our chromatic line the same, and the only thing we're going to do is adjust our root here. So we're going from E flat to E. I'm just taking it up a half step. Now the amazing thing is that when we go from playing an E flat major chord and then we go to an E diminished, the 3rd and the 5th note are actually going to stay consistent. So when we're playing a major triad on that E flat, we have our E flat, G, B flat, and then when we go to that E diminished, the E is going to be up a half step, but then we're still going to have a G and a B flat because we need that like minor 3rd and minor 5th to build that diminished chord. So long story short, the only thing you have to do to adjust playing this guy over the E flat to playing over the E diminished is just take that root note up a half step. That's all we have to do. And once you get that, you return to your B flat, we're back home, back to F, and then return to B flat for 2 times. So the whole form here is pretty interesting. We kind of have a 4-bar phrase that we start the verse with, we repeat that phrase, then we go to our next phrase of the verse, which is kind of where we go from the 1 chord to the 4, the E flat, and then the sharp 4 diminished, the E, and then we come back and we repeat our initial phrase of the B flat, F, B flat for 2 bars. So the whole thing altogether is going to feel like this. That's our first phrase. Here's our second, just repeating. Here's our third phrase, where we've got 2 bars of B flat, E flat, E diminished, back to the B flat, F, B flat twice. And there is our verse form. So again, you can kind of think about it as like A, B, A if you want, where that first section is B flat, F, B flat, B flat. That's our 4-bar phrase. And we do A, the B section where we go to that E flat chord. And then it ends with that other 4-bar phrase, the A again, where we have B flat, F, 2 bars of B flat. So the form here isn't too crazy. It's an AABA form for this verse. Now let's talk a little bit about the bridge section of this song. So we've gone through our verse. The bridge, we're going to do a couple things. One, I'm going to switch positions because I think it's a little bit easier to play the verse in a different place on the neck, kind of like what we were talking about before, where if we're playing in the key of B flat, we can kind of choose to root ourselves around here or around here. So for the bridge section of the song, we're going to kind of take ourselves up to the 4 chord, the E flat. Instead of going to find it here, which you totally could do, I'm going to go find it here just because I think it's a little warmer place on the neck, and it's going to set up the next set of moves that we have. So I'm going to go up to this E flat here to start our bridge. Again with my line, 2 bars on that E flat. We're going to return to the B flat, the 1, which I'm now grabbing here. Then we're going to go to an A flat chord, or the flat 7 chord of our key, which is going to be here. Now, again, the reason why I've chosen to switch positions is because it's just a little bit easier to kind of make this move here. So we're going from our E flat position here to the B flat, and then we just go down a whole step to our A flat. We're going to play the groove there twice, and then we're going to take ourselves all the way down to the nut again, to the 1st fret where we have our F, and we're just going to rock quarter notes. And that's the bridge. So this is kind of our perfect bridge or middle 8. Sometimes people will refer to a bridge as a middle 8, meaning it's 8 bars. And this is kind of perfectly symmetrical for us, where we have 2 bars on the E flat, 2 bars on the B flat, 2 bars on the A flat, 2 bars on the F. And this is where we're just kind of rocking those quarter notes. And now we're back to the rest of the song. When we return to that B flat, we can kind of do a solo section, another verse, etc. So this is just like a cool way to think about this song, meaning that our verse section, we kind of have that AABA form, and then we have our bridge section, which is the perfect little middle 8. And again, I like to kind of switch positions going from one section of the song to the other, just because it makes shifting easier. And you can get just like a lot of consistency out of this bass line when you just kind of stick to the pattern. And if you just decide to use dead notes, or if you decide to use some kind of moves to take you between the chords, that's totally cool. But this is a great way to kind of bring this, like I said, blues adjacent song into your repertoire. And I would also encourage you to go and check out some of the other things that happen in the song. There are a lot of little like arrangement moments where they play some cool things. So know that this is a great way to get started on the song, but there are also going to be like interesting arrangement choices and some little hits and everything that happen throughout. There's also a great Blues Brothers version of this tune with a totally different bass line. So you may want to give that a little listen as well, and A, B, the two. But I would say this one is probably the easier of the two, and a great way to kind of get started and to learn the form of this song. So I hope you dug this lesson. Again, if you want to get tab notation, backing tracks, anything like that, please head over to my Patreon page, and you can get all of those things there for this lesson as well as everything at this channel. And in the meantime, happy practicing, everybody. Keep it groovy.